Hi guys, welcome home to Break the Noise. My name is Smurth. We are going over our book review for the year. I just want to do an intro, let you guys know I love you. Thank you all for the beautiful support. I actually went and did a little moment on a podcast called Wide Open with Tim Ross and Friends. An amazing, impactful experience. So I know some of you guys are here from there. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for listening to my vulnerability, holding space for me, by the support that I've been getting from different friends, families, and even strangers. And this book review is not gonna watch itself. So, and the glasses make it go crazy. A little backstory: I gave my life to Christ 11/12/2023, and during that time, I had other people around me. I had all these things around me that were, my life changed completely, and there was a lot of things that I had to depart from, and I had to find something, and I didn't want to go to vices, so I got back into reading. And so that was a really cool place for me to go, especially since when I was younger, I was really into it. So you guys get to read with me and see what I like and read some of the stuff that I've been reading, and hopefully you guys like it too. So if you haven't already, to like, subscribe, and comment, and enjoy the show. See you guys again. Welcome back. If you haven't been here before, welcome home. Like I said, I just want to let you guys know that today we're going to be doing a book review. So in 2024 and 2023, 2024, I read at least 10 books. During that time, it was like the tail end of 2024, okay? Don't judge. 2023, don't judge me. I actually am in a new location today, as you guys can see. Pretty much all of 2024, I had a couple books that I was reading, about 10 of them. So I actually want to go over them with you today, kind of give you some suggestions if you also wanted to get into reading theological romances. I did mostly theological readings at the end of 2023 and most of 2024. And by the end, I was like, I want a good romance book. So I found a good romance series I wanted to share with you guys. Also, I have some suggestions for 2025. So the first book is Gay Girl, Good God by Jackie Hill Perry. This is an autobiography of basically her testimony in life and just really facing the intersectionality between finding herself, her faith, and her sexuality, and how those coincide together. Jackie's in a place in her life where this is no longer like her story, but at the same time, she's written this part of her story. It's her testimony, but she's done so much since this book. And I think a lot of the times when we have a testimony, we have a part of our life that people know about, they tend to make this our full story. And this is not who she is entirely, but I definitely think this is a good read to actually get to know her, her past, and how she became the person that she is today. She's an amazing author, teacher, mother, wife, things like that. So I definitely would highly recommend this book. I actually want to reread it again because the place that I was when I read it the first time is not the place that I am today. So I definitely would recommend this book. And disclaimer, like all these books, you can read them, you cannot read them. You might be a part of the LGBTQIA+ community, you might not be, but it's just a way to kind of have conversations with people from whether it's a faith perspective, LGBTQIA+ perspective, or the intersectionality of them both, but really getting to understand different types of communities, because everyone doesn't see the same, everyone doesn't share the same faith and have the same lifestyle or type of way that they live, but we all have stories that back all of those things. There will come a day or two, or many, for the SSA Christian when the affections for which they once delighted in will whisper for them to return. It will whisper the promise of joy and fulfillment, but it will feel more than true than it is, for sin can never deliver on its promises to make us happy. Vomit will always be vomit, even if drizzled with chocolate, sliced almonds, and a cherry on top. When the temptation to see sin as what it is does not arrive, the scriptures are our light, our final truth, our escape out of the shadow moving toward our feet. The word of God and not the word of the enemy is where we see the true identity of sin. And then it says Romans 6:23.
For the wages of sin is death, but each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. Then desire, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. James 1:14-15. And the reason why I kind of laugh is because today I was watching the Basement podcast / Wide Open Now, and that was the verse Tim Ross read today. So that was kind of intense to read in real time.
The next book is also by Jackie Hill Perry. Jackie Hill Perry, I think, is one of the most amazing authors. And when people write, they don't always write like it's poetry, but Jackie writes like it's poetry. And this is actually one of the books I've had for a while. I think almost a year, almost 2 years that I've had this book, and I just never touched it because the title of this book is Holier Than Thou. And I was so judgmental, and I was like, oh, like you're gonna tell me how to be holier than thou, or you're gonna tell me how to be some up-to-date person. And it's not. It's about God's holiness and how we can see that in just everything that he does. One of the main lines in this book that stands out to me is like, and it's also, I believe, a verse in the Bible, I'm not too sure, I will place the verse here, that even if we don't praise God, a lot of people are like, well, I'm not gonna talk to God, I'm not gonna praise him, he doesn't deserve to be praised. That his creation cries out to him. So even if we stop talking to him, the rocks will sing out and the sea will cry out to God. And I think that's so profound. So that was actually one of my favorite lines from this book.
And the angels cry, holy. Let's see what I highlighted. God is altogether separate and not set apart to the degree that he is unreachable or unknowable, but separate from us in that he exists differently than us. As the holy God, he is one of a kind. His uniqueness is what defines him as holy, for as we've seen before, the word itself means to cut or to separate. He is above us in his very being, totally different than us in how he exists. Again, a banger.
The next one is kind of cheesy, but I love it because if I love it, you'll like it. It's so basically for me, I'm in this phase in my life, like we're talking to the people, you know, past 18, past 19, and if you're 18 or 19 or 21, like obviously this channel is for you too. But you're just in a phase in your life where you're okay with being single, but you're hoping and praying that God actually, hopefully you're praying to God, number one, because you don't want to be with a narcissist or a person that you have to be like, it gets you on your knees to finally confront your relationship with God. So for me, I actually found this book on TikTok. So I'm talking in circles because I don't know if I want to show this. But anyway, you know when someone walks up and you may have heard, I don't know, not everyone speaks Christianese, but like, oh, you know, I was praying for you before I met you, da 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 da. Like, you know, like if you're ever having a hard day, I was making sure to tell God to really protect you. And for some of us, we feel very hidden, like God is hiding us, because I really feel my husband is right there right now praying like, don't let anyone look at her, talk to her, speak to her. Don't even let her look like invisibility, Casper right now. I feel like he's playing, let her be Casper to everyone but me. But basically, there's this book called 31 Prayers for My Future Husband. And I actually wrote a letter as well, too, just to the future person, whoever it is. So just like that person knows and feels loved and feels prayed for. And if we ever do have arguments, which we probably will because we're human, he can really go back, read this, and know that I was thinking about him before I knew who he was. So that's this one, 31 Future Prayers. And there's one for wife as well, too. So for any guys out there wanting to pray for their future wife before she really comes into their life, or you have a wife right now and you want to pray for them, I'd highly recommend that as well.
What does it say? The anticipation to one day get married is a beautiful experience that should not be rushed. In your waiting, purpose to pray for your future husband and what he is enduring through right now that will contribute to your future marriage. This resource takes you on a journey of learning how to pray for his heart as you pray through 31 specific prayers for him. So, yeah. I've already explained this. I don't want to go into it again, but basically, I just want to be a person that really is intentional about every interaction that I have. I'm not saying like you meet someone tomorrow and you get married to them the day after, but definitely keeping a covenant relationship, making sure we're not doing anything that is outside of what we should do before marriage, which is pretty much outlined in the Bible. Making sure we're not having sex before marriage, you know, what do you call it? The devil's tango. We're trying to do the covenant hanky-panky. If you know, you know. That's my inside joke. So covenant hanky-panky versus devil tango. And yeah, so I want to make sure that, like, people are asking, like, what are we supposed to do while we're dating? There's so much to do. There's so much to learn, so much to grow. That's why I also read the book Single, Engaged, Dating, Married. Counseling, learn more about the person, figure out more about their family history, what generational curses do you guys have to break together. So much to do. And like, sometimes we get so quick into things, you have to go back to ask questions. Like, what's your favorite color? Like, you have a kid with this person sometimes and you don't even know their favorite color. So that's what I really want to highlight, is like, hey, I want to get to know you. I want to know who you are. I want to know, you know, your relationship with God. And then, you know, we could figure everything else after.
There's this book called Holy Moments. Holy Moments is like a practical everyday, like, we sometimes try to make a big deal out of spirituality, and we try to be like, oh, I gotta go to do this and do that and do like a bunch of spiritual practices. But there's a verse in the Bible that talks about, if you can speak in tongues, you know, if you don't know what tongues are, it's okay. It's like a heavenly language. You can speak in tongues, but you got an attitude like nobody's business. You go to church every single day, but you're a hypocrite. You're in the parking lot honking at people, cursing them out as soon as you leave church. So Holy Moments talks about what it looks like on a day-to-day to really have those pure moments with people and places and things where you don't have to wait till Sunday, or you don't have to be a version of yourself, but you just have holy moments. At least that's what I think this book is about. It's been a while since I read it, and so I'm gonna read up and ask, where's chat? Guys, where? Oh my gosh, I found the book, handy dandy notebook. Let's ask chat. Relativism is very big these days. More relativism is basically like, you have your truth, I have my truth, but there's a truth, and there's the truth. So I think it's super important to kind of focus on, here's the truth and here's how I can live and walk by that. So that's what Holy Moments is about. It's like making those great interactions and daily moments really count and matter, because we really don't know if we have tomorrow. That's one thing we can all agree on. Atheist, Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, we can all agree we don't know if we have tomorrow. So it's called Restless Heart. My Struggle with Life and Sexuality by Kim. But it's really her life story, from being a real estate agent to, you know, going to Africa and going on a different journey and finding herself. I love the cover art. If you look at it, she's on the street and she's just barefoot. She's really laying it all. And the back of the book says, I was addicted to people, especially women. I was confused, but I didn't show it. So it's really a good book that goes into her life.
This one right here, guys. I gotta raise the glass.
Let's see.
So raise your glass if you. October 17, please leave. October 17 was real. The year I had with God was real. It was beautiful, truly like nothing I'd experienced before. So when Heather and I kissed, it distributed me. What? Me too, God. I was like, Heather and I kissed? I don't remember that. This was a good book to read early on in my journey. Kudos to me. Kudos to God. But back it up. Kudos to God showing me this book so early on in my journey, because you know what? God said, I am the light, the way, the truth, and the life. Kudos to God for showing me these books so early on in my journey, because it is what a literal wrestle looks like. I don't know how you guys don't feel about the lighting change situation, but I don't care. My light came off. The bills are being paid. I mean, guys, subscribe, like, and comment. We need to pay the bills. I opened my eyes. Left off was we were going through the books. I put my hands back over my eyes and felt God say, keep focused on me, Kimberly. Keep your eyes focused on me. I felt peace. I took my hands away, but I kept my eyes shut. I just listened to the words being sung. I had no clue what I was doing or what I was supposed to be doing, but I was at peace just listening. And that's on page 134. Alrighty, next one.
Another book, the next book that we're gonna go to is Autumn by the Sea. This is my romance that I told you guys about. This is like, I don't know, this is my book. This is the Muir Harbor series, but it's a romance, but it's also a mystery. And it's a mystery. You think, oh my god, this is gonna be a romance, it's gonna be so cute, and it's like a mystery romance, and it just takes you on a wild ride. One of my close friends actually is obsessed with the book just as much as I am. I love to put people on, so honestly, if you're looking for a clean read, if you know what I mean by clean read, it's not like, oh my god, this is so teenagey. No, these are adults. They're in their 20s and 30s, so you're not watching high schoolers fall in love. You're not watching. That's so annoying. I mean, it's not annoying. It's fun. It's still good to watch high schoolers fall in love. But when you're like 20-some, it's harder to read a 17 and a 16-year-old falling in love and doing crazy things as opposed to 30-somethings and 20-somethings having a blast and having a good time and falling in love. So this is really good. Highly recommend it. Hi, my love.
Oh, hello. I was not expecting you to pick up so quickly. Hello.
I'm good. I'm in the middle of a video. I'm about to finish it.
Oh, okay then. Well, don't let me stop you. Bye.
Say hi to the vlog.
I shall not.
Oh my gosh, it's so mean.
Vlog.
It's not even a vlog today. It's just it's the book video that I promised you I would make. I told them already that you stole all my books, and so I can't do the full video, but I'll have pictures for them.
Boo, it's not my fault. I gave you a week.
You did. But no.
All you had to do was start. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay.
I plead my case.
Okay, you're on speaker, and you always embarrass me when you're on speaker.
Oh, this is so correct. Let me hang up and save face. Bye, love.
Bye, I love you. I'll call you back once I'm done.
Oh yeah, this is actual like what they call these a contemporary read, not a historical drama or theological book. So if I read too far in the middle, let me read the back. Safe bet. Abandoned. As a toddler, Sydney Rose has spent years wondering who she really is. Homesick for a life she's never lived. When a private investigator crashes into her world, she finds herself heading to a tiny seaside town in Maine to meet a woman named Maggie, who's searching for the granddaughter she lost decades ago. If not for Maggie, Neil McKean might still be back in Scotland, bereft and alone. Instead, he has a full life in Muir Harbor with an adopted family he loves and a blueberry farm to run. Anyone ever get scared for popcorn reading? Like, I honestly was always like, I'll read first! But I understand now. I get it. I'm able to sympathize more. Because even though this is recorded and I can, like, switch it up, this is a lot. But the farm is struggling and strange occurrences have him concerned. Worse, Maggie's once again caught up in the past, convinced she's finally found her long-lost granddaughter. I'm gonna leave that there. So yeah, guys, a book, a read, an amazing read. And then she didn't just stop there. She did it again. And I have not read this one, but she did it again. This is actually my favorite. Out of these three, this is actually my favorite cover art, A Seaside Wonder. Now, I'm not gonna read the back of this one because this is a successive series, right? And I'm gonna put it in the right order. This is a successive series, and if I read this might spoil the other books, so I'm gonna leave that to you.
Beholding and Becoming, which is so sweet because one of my close friends got this book for me, and he was just like, he didn't know how much I needed in this time. I take this book with me to the beach whenever I would do like little moments with like just God and praying and just like writing in my journal. The art of everyday worship is so important. Because when you do things, and again, my perspective comes from a Christian perspective, but this can be used in your everyday life, regardless if you have a Christian perspective. But understanding that the depthness of it can only go so far depending on what you believe in. So when you do things for people, like whether it's have Christian principles and not be Christian, right? But the depth to which everything can actually come into fruition can only be as deep as that relationship that you have with God. So yeah, I think it's crazy to have Christian principles but not be a Christian, because you're not really getting the full effects of it. It's like putting a plant in a pot and only putting half the dirt, and then the plant grows and it's ready to go to a new pot, but we just keep it in the same pot forever, so it eventually dies. Not to be morbid, but yeah, like at the end of the day, this book talks about how when you go and you wash dishes, but with like, damn, I don't even wash dishes for real. Like, it's like, don't wash the dishes. Obviously, you're supposed to if you're at a certain age, but if your mom asks you for a favor, don't do it if your heart is full of just contentment and not wanting to do it. But when you do it unto the Lord, so doing it for God, doing things not for him to like you, but because you're like, oh God, you know what I mean? Like, God loves me, so I'm doing it. So in 2025, that's one of my biggest struggles, is not doing things from a place to receive love. So that's someone, if you've ever struggled people pleasing, or know anyone in your life that struggles people pleasing, you're not doing something to please the person. You're doing it from a place of already being loved by the person, right? So I know this person loves me, so I will do it, but I'm not doing it so they will love me. So that's super important understanding. And like I said, how to worship God when you're washing dishes. But it's like, you don't have to be like, oh my God, holy, holy God Almighty. How to do it dynamically in everyday things that you do. You're in the process of becoming. Every day is an opportunity to be shaped and formed by what moves your heart, drives your thoughts, captures your gaze. Is it any wonder that where you direct your eyes and your heart matters in your day-to-day? So if you are a person who's trying to get rid of anger issues, but you're on WorldStar, I don't know if WorldStar is still a thing, but you're on the internet watching fight videos all day because, you know, you want to let out your aggression, I guess, it's not really going to help, because you're watching other people let out aggression in the way that you're trying to stop letting out your aggression. Or if you're really trying not to talk about people behind their back, but you're watching gossip columns or you're watching celebrity gossip all day, it's not going to help you better and become the version that you told me you wanted to be. So here in Break the Noise, we're going to break through all the noise in your life, but the person that you told me that you wanted to be is who I'm going to hold you accountable to. And that's pretty much it. And then our right here, and I know I had glasses on before, so we're going to put the glasses on when we're reading, right? Oh my God, that could be a segment. Ooh, sorry, my love. It could be a segment, like glasses when we read, we have glasses. When we don't read, we don't have glasses, okay? Okay. This is shout out to my best friend. You know who you are. Shout out to Jermaine for getting me this book. It has like different drawings, different art. It's so gorgeous. It's so pretty. It's very nice, very demure. Look at this. Look at this, guys. So it says, if we find ourselves with a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that we were made for another world. So beautiful. It's just really the ins and outs of everyday. What does everyday look like? Are you responding to people with love? Are you giving and treating people with love? What are you doing to make the world a better place? That I own. But this is my warrior Bible. My cat actually got to it. If you see to it, you know, we got it tied up. This book right here, this is the Bible. You know, this is the NIV version of the Bible. When recently, I think I told one of my cousins, I said, you know what? Read it, even if you don't believe in God. The reason why is because, one, if you don't believe in God, you want to know what you don't believe in, right? If you say, I don't believe in this stuff, I don't believe in this religious, you know, stuff, then you need to know what you don't believe in. That way you can defend your point a lot better. And for me, I believe in it, so I actually have to read it to know what I believe in even more. There's this book called Proverbs, which a lot of people have heard about. So I tell people, I'm like, hey, if you're not a person who believes in God, but you want financial advice or you want relationship advice, then read Proverbs. I think if you deal with depression, read Psalms. You know what it's like to wrestle with your creator, but also wrestle because you feel like the whole world is against you. If you want to learn about this story, you heard about this person named Jesus constantly. People are like, Jesus this, Jesus that, he raised from the dead. And you're like, bro, who is this Jesus person? His life, death, and resurrection are in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So those are books of the Bible that go through the same story but from different perspectives. So there is a book I listened to called Single, Dating, and Married. Single and Dating, Engaged, Married. But I just listened to it, and honestly, without having a physical book in front of me, I felt like I couldn't really focus as much. But one of the big things that it went into in the dating portion is how far is too far, like when you're going into dating. And honestly, if you have to ask that question, it's probably too far. I don't think everyone lives or abides by those same rules. I don't think my audience is going to completely agree with me on everything, but I think whatever standards you say that you're going to live by, as a friend, I hold you to those standards. If you tell me like, hey bro, me and my girl are trying to, hey bro, you know what I mean? Hey, me and my friend are trying to do, I'm screaming. Me and my partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, we're trying to just really like not do anything crazy before we get married, then I'll hold you to that standard. If you say that, that's not just the standard you're living by, I can't hold you to a standard you haven't committed yourself to, because then I just sound like a nagging mother. I'm not trying to be nobody's mama. But as soon as you tell me you got like a certain standards that you want to live by, I'm like, I'm right there with you. I'm like, single, dating, married, engaged. Yeah. And then the last one, and this is actually Upon Waking. This is her 60-day devotional. This would be more than 60 days because just like the Bible, and I'm not saying this is comparative to the Bible at all, but it's like a sword that kind of hurts sometimes, a double-edged sword. It's really good, but it really hurts sometimes. So Upon Waking, sometimes she catch me off guard, whether she speaks on laziness or the kind of people you surround yourself with, or going back to the past or going to your vomit. Like, it's really just a way of being like, hey, what is out there already, but what do I have to tell to people that they haven't heard already? And that's really what Upon Waking is all about. She says in the back, there's nothing in your hands that God won't replace with more of himself. So let it go, let it fly, let it burn. God is better anyway. And I think for me, as a person who's a former people pleaser, a person who's learning how to let go and let God, like, this is literally a practical tool to do that. It's not just, oh, let go and let God, and you're looking at this person like, I'm trying, like, but you're a person with a grip on everything. So this book is really about letting go and letting God the moment you wake up. But you don't have to do it in the morning. You could do it upon going to sleep.
So guys, listen, I'm gonna read this last insert over here because the lighting was amazing. The natural, you know what the best form of lighting is? The sun. So we're gonna be doing that over here. Cut to this part of the video. Y'all, I like to give myself work. So this is day 18. This is actually Psalm 78:58. For they provoked him to anger with their high places. They moved him to jealousy with their idols. First question, do we know an idol when we see it? Paul did. Now, while Paul was waiting for them at Athens, his spirit was provoked within him as he saw that the city was full of idols. Athens is Rome, guys. What Paul saw as idols, we enter a museum and call art, which could stand as a contemporary metaphor in this way. We are constantly discerning the proper description of things, whether to call it an art or an idol, a family or a god, a job or a lord, money or master. Aaron made a golden calf, art. They called it God. Idolatry, and the way to determine if a thing is one or the other is to pay attention to the way people handle it. Oh my gosh. The Athenians called their gods gods and treated them as such. We call the things we worship by normal names. Hence the reason we view ourselves less idolatrous than the ancients. You can go to the east of this American nation and encounter 1,000 gods on one train ride. You can travel to the west where Hollywood's throne sits, high and lifted up, and see the beautiful ones. You'd have to be discerning to know that pretty is the Lord among them. Guys, when I tell you that's day 18, this took me more than 60 days because she ate me up every day. Every time I opened this, she ate me up. So I highly recommend it. Why is this so cut up? Is because I was doing the review and at first I was like, this is not really a review. I feel like they need more. So after I did that, as you can tell, I'm in a new locale. I was in a new locale when I filmed this video. I feel like I didn't give you guys enough. And honestly, the more that I can give you guys, the reason why that stood out so much to me was because that is what we need to know. Some people are like, oh, you know, I don't serve other gods. I'm an atheist. Everybody has a God. It's your phone. It's your family. It's money. It's your partner. Whatever it is, everybody has a God that they serve. We just might not know what it is. So when I tell you this ate me up, because I might not have a cigarette to my hand, but I hope like I'm working on my addiction with my phone, you know, that I've had for a really long time. And it's in my hand every day. A cigarette person, like I gave up cigarettes. I've wanted to do the little button phones for so long. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't give up my phone, you know, now I'm a content creator, now I work in marketing. But a cigarette smoker, our phones, it's addicted. We spend being honest, some of you guys, including myself, can't even turn on the Apple tracker of the phone thing because we know that if we saw the hours, we would just sick of me. You would be sick of me. So yeah, I'm so grateful and thankful for this community. I'm so grateful that you guys have read these books. No, you haven't read them. Sorry, that you guys are gonna get to read these books as well. And I just want your feedback. I want to know how you guys feel about these books, what impact they make in your lives, and if any of the authors come on this video, I will freak out. So yeah, shout out to all the authors in this book that made an impact on my year last year, and I'm so excited. I haven't read a book this year just yet, except for the good book. But I am so excited to start reading in 2025. Bye guys.